Hi there, I'm Peter Allan. I'm the Community Planning Manager in Dundee. Hannah's going to help me by getting my presentation up. Helen was really clear that she was part of a really big team that had to achieve things in Shetland, and everything in Dundee is thanks to me. Just to show your appreciation of all opportunities, that would be great. Hannah asked me to talk a bit about the private sector, and I'm doing that because it's one of the most difficult sectors to help to make our contribution to the fairness and anti-poverty agenda. There's nothing very dramatic, and I'm sure most of it's stuff that you guys have been doing as well. But I'm going to skip through three things really quickly. The real living wage recovery and how that connects to what we're trying to do, and the cost of the school day. We know that work alone isn't necessarily going to be a guarantee of a route out of poverty, but it is going to be one of the most significant drivers. And it sometimes feels like one of the few things that we can make a contribution to locally. So we committed big to the real living wage, or the Scottish living wage in Dundee. And we've had a big focus on private employers. We're really pretty successful in the private sector, but the private employers are the place where sometimes the numbers are, but also sometimes where the poorest wages are. So to give an example of the approach that we're taking in Dundee, big kind of regeneration on our central waterfront, which I hope you've heard about. We can't legally force anybody who's located into that area, bringing kind of jobs and offices and stuff, to pay the Scottish living wage. But we're essentially saying to them, if you want to take advantage of the economic opportunities that are available in Dundee, you need to be prepared to share that by paying the real living wage to your employees. And sometimes that makes discussions a lot harder with potential investors, but we're absolutely determined to try and push that as far as we possibly can. We created, we helped to develop, along with the Poverty Alliance, we helped to create the living wage place approach, and we're delighted to say that Dundee was announced as the first living wage city. There will be many more really good living wage places, but none of them will be first. And we've got an action group together that provides leadership on that, and the private sector are playing an absolutely vital role in that. We find that they have ideas, they have connections, they've got reach into other private sector employers that we just don't have. Sometimes they speak a language that might be significantly different. The energy that they have around this agenda is really striking, and we're delighted that they're able to help us. When we launched as a living wage city, or when we're making ourselves a living wage city, Ellis Watson, who's the managing director of DC Thompson's in Dundee, just seeing the influence that he'd had on other private sector employers around the city, it was really striking. So we've got to harness that as much as we can. So what we're trying to do now in Dundee, we've already got about a quarter of the equivalent of a quarter of the workforce in Dundee is working for an accredited Scottish living wage company. So that means that they're paying the living wage, but they're also doing their best to try and make sure that all their contractors and all the people they procure from are also paying the living wage. And we've given ourselves a really ambitious, because we were the first, we had to kind of invent the process, and we committed ourselves to try and double the number of people who are accredited, who work in living wage accredited employers by 2022. But I also want to finish by saying we're the first, we're the first ones to get living wage city status. But if you really want to see where the best work is getting done on the living wage, you need to go to South Lanarkshire and speak to Kay McIntosh, because what they're doing is absolutely inspirational. Second thing we wanted to mention was one of the negative drivers. So if income's one of the most positive ones, what we're finding in Dundee is one of the most negative drivers is on children and family is drug use. And you may have heard recently quite a bit of publicity around the results of our drug commission in Dundee, which kind of paint a really stark picture of the impact of drug deaths and drug use on our communities. So we've developed an approach called the recovery friendly approach, which invites local shops and other organisations to sign up to an anti-stigma awareness raising campaign. And what we're trying to do here is to improve the day-to-day experience of people who are in recovery from poor mental health or from drugs, substance offending, anything that triggers negative social reactions. Now, one of our priorities is to sign up local shops, because local shops have an absolutely central role in our day-to-day lives, especially in our poorest areas. And we know that people who are in crisis or who are in recovery can often present themselves with really difficult behaviour. And that can be really hard for everybody in the community. But our recovery-friendly approach says, essentially, everybody should be treated with respect and dignity. And we're asking local businesses, we're saying to them, we know that you care about your community, we know that you care about your customers, so help us to be part of the solution and give people the chance and support they need to get their lives back on track. And that will be helpful for everybody who lives here. So it's a kind of bleak subject, but we think it can make an important contribution. And the last point I wanted to make was around the cost of the school day. And I really can't recommend enough that I know that you'll all be touching on cost of the school day somehow, but we went for the full Monty in Dundee, and we got into partnership with LCPAR Scotland, and the quality of the work that they've led in helping us to understand and to make young people themselves at the centre of the work that we're doing to try and fix things has been really important. So I really would encourage you to try and scrape together enough money to commission them to work with you. It's helped us to develop 4 really strong pledges for the city around commitments to cut costs about breakfast clubs, school trips and uniforms. And we have asked for examples from the Cost of School Day team about how the private sector had been involved, and they told me about companies like Greggs and Kellogg's helping with breakfast supplies and activities, and the Co-op Local Community Fund. And sometimes these are companies that you'd probably rather not get into partnership with, but the purpose is way more important than the principle maybe sometimes. And a daft example, so didn't get me started about the prom. And I'd really, and I know that you'll have found examples where people have come up with something better and cheaper than the prom. But I think we have to accept that seems to be a big part of young people's lives now and school life, even if I probably disagree with it. If it is happening, it shouldn't be something that's denied to young people from low-income backgrounds. So one of our secondary schools, the Morgan, they had a special kind of fair where they invited the local beauticians, the kilt hire company, the hairdressers to come in and sign local young folk up for a cheap access to these things, which are going to cost an absolute fortune if you're going to want to enjoy the prom experience. So it's kind of daft, but it's a way that the private sector can help. And the last point I wanted to make was about holiday hunger. Local supermarkets, local food companies making a really positive contribution to holiday hunger and holiday activity programmes. But God, wouldn't it be great if we could focus more of our energy on making sure that there's no need for holiday hunger programmes. But in the meantime, the private sector seems to be generating plenty of profits, so let's try and take advantage of that and get them to make a contribution that we can grab. And I just want to finish by saying, when was the last time you saw someone from Dundee making a presentation without mentioning the V&A?